Tuesday, April 11th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. First up, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Then we'll learn about burning season with West Barnstable Fire Chief Joe Maruca. And finally, we'll check in with DPW Director Dan Santos. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. Governor Charlie Baker appoints Town Councilor John Flores to the Nuclear Decommissioning Citizens Advisory Panel. According to the Cape Cod Times, the panel is made up of 16 members and is responsible for advising the state legislature and state agencies on decommissioning issues. The John F. Kennedy Memorial in Hyannis is getting an upgrade. Consultants working on the restoration project are looking for resident input. Consultants will present design elements to the public tonight at 7 in the Town Hall hearing room. All are welcome to attend and to share their thoughts. The Town of Barnstable is preparing the one-year action plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program for FY18. Residents will be able to view the plan April 12th on the town's website. Residents can send their thoughts to Kathleen Gerard in the Growth Management Department through May 12th. If you have questions, you can contact the town's Growth Management Department. Up next, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Good morning. Joining me now live on the phone, Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald. A very busy week for the Barnstable Police Department. I want to talk about a couple incidents of importance. First of all, I want to talk about a road rage incident that happened recently.
Yes, last Friday afternoon, approximately 5:30 in the evening, a gentleman was exiting Route 6, headed on Route 149, heading in a southerly direction towards Race Lane. A vehicle came up behind him at a very high rate of speed and was literally tailgating him. The gentleman was operating a truck, so he couldn't see him in his mirrors. Then the vehicle tried to pass him on the left. He couldn't because of oncoming vehicles. Then the vehicle tried to pass him on the right, driving on the dirt and grass area of the Boston Mills Airport. The vehicle got stuck in the road there. The other operator stopped and actually was trying to assist him. Both individuals jumped out. They pulled a knife on the other operator. Man, what are you doing? You try to cut us off. And he said, what are you doing? You're tailgating me. Then you try to pass on the right. A verbal argument ensued, but once the two individuals, they pulled that knife. He returned, retreated back to his vehicle, got in his vehicle and left, called us. There was a couple of crews in the immediate area. They were eventually able to stop the suspect vehicle. And two individuals were arrested for assault by means of a dangerous weapon, to wit, a knife. They were identified as Anthony Bianchi of Taunton and Damian Cool, both of Taunton. Both individuals were arrested and they were arraigned yesterday in Barnstable District Court.
What a scary situation.
It is pretty scary.
Do you have any advice for individuals if they experience something like this on the roadway? First of all, what could he have done, the driver who was going through this?
He really couldn't have done anything. The best thing to do, like I tell my family members, if somebody is driving erratically, if there's a road rage incident, just pull over the side of the road, let them go by you. If they're tailgating you, obviously they want to go by you. Obviously, in their opinion, you're driving too slow. Don't get involved in it. Don't tap your brakes. Don't try to accelerate. Just if you can, pull off to the side of the road and let them go by. And that usually ended. If they start chasing you, then you drive to a safe spot. You drive to a police station, you drive to a commercial area, you drive to a fire station, and everybody has cell phones now, and you call 911 immediately. But don't stop the car. Don't get out of the car. And don't confront them because nothing good is going to come of that.
That's right. You're putting your safety at risk.
Absolutely.
Great advice there, Chief. I want to talk to another incident that occurred recently, a domestic incident recently. What can you tell me about this?
Yeah, there was a domestic last night in Hyannis off Old Colony Boulevard, 198 Old Colony Boulevard, between a male and a female. They've been dating for a year. They got a verbal argument over some furniture. The young lady was trying to sell some furniture. Apparently, he did not want to sell the furniture. Obviously, they both had some alcohol involved in it. The verbal argument escalated. Supposedly, she's alleging that he pushed her. She then grabbed a garden hoe and struck him over the head, gave him a significant injury to the front of his head. He was transported to Cape Cod Hospital, and she was subsequently arrested for ABTW, to wit, a garden hoe.
Wow, very scary situation there as well. In these kinds of cases, do they have victim support for these domestic incidents?
Well, we do. We have a domestic violence specialist here at the PD, Jessica J. She reaches out to anybody involved in a domestic. Today she'll be reaching out to this individual to make sure he's okay, make sure he is aware of all his rights regarding restraining order or an HPO, and then she will assist him through the entire process as it goes to court. A pretrial conference, when it goes to trial, jury trial, or a trial by the judge. She will follow through with this, right through the entire operation.
Glad to hear there is support for
Yes.
victims in that area. I want to talk to you about something else that's really important happening here in the town of Barnstable. Of course, you're going to be meeting with some business owners to make sure they're following all the rules and regulations we have here in the town of Barnstable. What can you tell me about these business
This
meetings?
is our annual licensing meeting, and we've been doing this now for probably the past 10 years. We invite everyone who has a liquor license, someone who serves alcohol at their establishments. There'll be a licensing meeting later for people who are package stores, but tomorrow's meeting is just for licensing holders who serve alcohol on their establishment. And what we do is we go through all of the rules and regulations, that they have to comply with, and what we expect from them, and then we let them know what they can expect from us. How often are we going to check on them, and if we are going to have a reverse thing, underage string, which sometimes we do that. We work with the ABC, and we do that, towards the end of the summer. But we just want to make sure everybody's operating on the same page before the summer season starts, and we've done this annually. We usually get a good response from it. There are a couple of new restaurants, new bars opening up in town, and we just want to get everybody on the same page, and we're all working together so we can all have a great summer.
Well, and as we know, regulations can change from year to year, so
Absolutely.
always important to be up on the current regulations. Is this required for business owners to attend?
It is required. We require everyone to attend. If they do not attend, we will be sending them a letter, and then they could be brought before the licensing board for a show cause hearing. But usually we get 100% compliance. They want to have a successful summer. They want to work with us. We work together, so we're not anticipating a problem. And a big change this year, of course, now marijuana is legal. So now if you have a smoker section in your bar or your restaurant, you're going to allow marijuana to be smoked in that smoking area. So it's going to be a good meeting. It's going to be a very informative meeting. We're looking forward to it.
Interesting discussion there,
Yes.
Chief, for sure.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and look forward to chatting with you again next week.
I'll see you then.
All right, talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
My guest this morning, Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald. Well, it's actually burning season out there. What do we need to know to do that safely? We're going to get all the information we need during our chat with West Barnstable Fire Chief Joe Maruca. So, Chief Maruca, it's springtime. Everyone's wanting to get outside, clean up their yards after the winter. A lot of times this includes some burning. So let's talk about how to do this safely and make sure we have all the proper permits. What are some things that we need to know, first of all, about burning this time of year?
Well, in the spring, Massachusetts allows homeowners to burn brush. From January 15th through May 1st. May 1st at 4 o'clock, it's all done. We have to stop. You need a permit issued by the fire department. They look like this, and they're easy to get. We don't charge for them. Just stop by the fire station, or you can go online to the West Barnstable Fire Department's website, and you can get your permit that way as well.
Why is it so important to have homeowners or individuals who are looking to burn some items? Why is it so important that the fire department be aware and that they have that permit?
Mainly because each day we have to make a decision as to whether or not it's appropriate to burn. And we make that decision based on safety, dryness, wind, and other factors that are based on how safe it is to burn that particular day, as well as air quality. So every morning we get a safety report from the state, we get an air quality report from DEP, and based on that information, each fire chief in the state makes a local decision as to whether or not we're going to allow burning on any particular day. Occasionally the state will shut burning down for us and say no burning for anybody, but most of the time it's a local decision we have to make. We do it at about 9:30, 9:45 in the morning, and so people with permits have to call in before they burn and get approval for that day. And this way we know who's burning, where they are, and if we have weather changes during the day, we can go out and shut the burning down if we need to. And we've had that happen every few years where we get a day that gets more dangerous than we thought it was going to be.
And really, it's just all about safety. Of course, anything that any reason you would shut it down is really just about safety.
Yes.
What about tips for people who have the permit? They have the proper permit now. They got the okay to go ahead and burn. Any tips for making sure they don't have any incidents in their yard or home?
Don't get carried away. That's it. I would say from between 2 and 6 times a year, we have to go out to extinguish a permit fire at somebody's home that has gotten too big, it's gotten out of control, it's moved into the woods, or on rare occasion, it's actually burned to the side of the house. So you want to avoid that. Keep it 75 feet away from buildings. Make sure that you have some water available, a hose, buckets, some way of dousing the fire, or at least cutting it back in size quickly if you need to. Don't try and burn it all at once. Start with a small pile and add things to it as the day goes on. Burning's allowed from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., so you've got a fairly long period of time. You're not allowed to burn stumps and big logs. This is strictly for small brush, branches, and things. So, keep it simple is our advice. Pick a place in your yard where you're not too close to the brush and dry areas where it could spread to, and watch for sparks to see if it's the wind might be carrying sparks from your fire and dumping them in the woods. Sometimes we've had them dump them on the roof and they light the leaves in the gutter on the house, so you want to watch out for problems like that. So those are things.
You talked a little bit about what you can and what you cannot burn. So we cannot burn, say, a large stump. Are there any other items you want to make sure that individuals do not burn?
You're not allowed to burn trash. You're not allowed to burn construction debris. You're not allowed to just burn leaves. Leaves are a problem, and that's a DEP rule. So it's really, when we say brush, it's sticks, it's things, maybe 3 inches in diameter or smaller kinds of things. It's all that yard debris that comes down every winter, and in these windstorms we've been having all spring, that your yard is full with. That's the perfect thing for burning. So those are kind of the rules on it. No gasoline to start the fires. We've had problems with people using gasoline and they don't understand how explosive it is. Don't use any of that.
Well, wonderful. Sounds like we're ready to go. Anything else you want us to be aware of about seasonal burning?
Sure. Just be aware that spring is the traditional brush fire season in New England. Unlike the West Coast and the South, our big brush season is April, May, June here. It gets very dry, and when it gets dry, warm, and windy, Cape Cod has serious brush fires. Make sure that your yard, the woods don't come within 30 feet of your house. That you have lawn or some defensible space around your property. Try and keep the 5 feet around the foundation of your house clear of piled up leaves and combustibles, so that sparks from a fire don't ignite the side of the house. We've seen that where fire climbs up the house and it gets into the attic very quickly. And lastly, make sure that your house has its numbers on it so we can find you when you call us if there's a fire, and that your driveway is kept nice and clear and wide, and you got overhanging branches that don't block our fire trucks. Are things that we run into out here in West Barnstable.
Right, because if you're in need of help, they need to be able to access
your home. We need to get there fast.
And need to be able to find it clearly.
It can be tough out here finding houses sometimes.
That's right. That's right. Great. Thank you so much for all the wonderful advice. We really appreciate it.
All right.
Our guest today, great. Yeah. Our guest today, Chief Joe Maruca for the West Barnstable Fire Department. So Cindy, so good to see you here today. We are standing in the new entrepreneur section, the new business center here at the Osterville Village Library. What made you want to create the space for business folks?
Oh. Well, walking through the library and talking with our patrons, there were so many people working out of the library, and we wanted to support their needs here. So it seemed like the perfect room and opportunity. This was the community room, named for Mrs. McGraw, and it kind of outgrew its space. So we moved that out into the atrium, and we reconfigured this room to make it suitable for people to come in and work.
Let's talk about some of the features here in the business center, because there are a lot of features that people will really find great use for. So we have
we have
a shredder.
Yep, we have a shredder, a HIPAA 3 level shredder. It's $1 a minute, and it does 25 pages at a time. It's great. You can see your stuff being shredded. You can do CDs, DVDs, paper clips, staples, and it's great. The motor doesn't burn out like the one at home after like 3 sheets of paper go in, and it doesn't get jammed easily. And it's a great asset for people and for, you know, patrons of the library.
And then, of course, if they need to make copies or they need to print something, there is a printer here, which is fabulous. I mean, these are resources you would find at a facility where you would pay for membership. And you're really trying to make this free for so many people in our community.
Yes. We have, you do have to pay for the copies, but they're very inexpensive. It's like 25 cents for color, 10 cents for black and white. And we can do large format, up to 11 by 17, which is nice, and you can use different stock papers. The machine, besides doing color and black and white copies, it is a fax machine, and it also scans to email and scans to USB for anybody with documents or things like that that they need to do.
Wow. So cool. And then, of course, you have publications for business members. You have the Wall Street Journal, other publications for business. So they really, so many references and things that they can use here. Of course, Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi throughout. We also have Mac and Apple computers through the building. We have magazines, too, like Harvard Business Review, Wired, Forbes, Money Magazine. We've got business journals. As you mentioned, the newspapers. We, always have reference people on staff that can help with any computer questions or issues. And, these tables are sit to stand, so you can move them to collate projects. It's really limitless of what somebody can create or develop in here.
Wow, really, really cool. And of course, you said people can make use of the other spaces in the library as well. So really cool changes that you have here. Very excited to see those. You also have a brand new art exhibit upstairs, which we want to talk about. What is this art exhibit you have?
Well, we are thrilled. This was at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum, and it's called The Lore of the Lore. And it's Dr. Dunn's private collection of 19th and 20th century marine art. And they are the most exquisite pictures, artwork, and they all tell a story. And he is great at telling that story along with it. We're going to have him here on 2 occasions speaking about the exhibit. But the exhibit will be here through the 1st of October.
Oh, wow, wonderful. So everyone has plenty of time to take a peek at that art exhibit. I want to talk to you, too, about another idea you guys are working on. We've seen little free libraries pop up across the Cape. Seen a couple in Hyannis, one in Barnstable Village, and one in Katuitt. You're actually hoping to get one approved for Dowses Beach, which is very exciting. You got that approved from the Rec Commission?
Yes, we did. We're thrilled, and we're going into the next steps to get this done, and we're kind of going to work with the older kids as a STEM project to see how the house gets built. We're building it ourselves, and so kids can see how the project is done, and then hopefully we'll have one at Dowses, and then we'll try for Joshua's.
Yeah, really cool. And what a great place if you're at a beach. You're in need of some reading material. There you go. The Little Free Library is the place to find it. Yep. What made you want to do that?
Well, I mean, we just want to help everybody, have access to books. And the libraries, the beach is a perfect place. I don't want to bring a several $100 Kindle or iPad and worry about it getting wet or rain or sand in it. And, books are traditional, what you do at the beach in the summertime.
That's right. That's right. Enjoy it. Well, anything else you want to share with us about happenings at the library before we wrap up?
Well, we're thrilled. Our 135th anniversary is coming up. We're having the book and the video on July 13th. We have our annual clam bake. mutts and martinis, because we're the only dog-friendly library around. We have lots of wonderful things going on, and we always love to hear what you want. So come see us.
Wonderful. And then I did see the sign as I entered the library that says we are a dog-friendly library. What should people know about bringing their dogs to the library? Are there any rules or regulations that they should be aware of?
Dogs need to be well behaved, and they need to make sure they stop by the circulation desk and get a treat.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much, Cindy. We really appreciate it. My guest today, of course, Cindy Cotton. She's the executive director here at the Osterville Village Library. Joining me now live on the phone, DPW Director Dan Santos. Dan, a very busy day at Town Council last Thursday. Can't believe it, but they made it pretty much through the entire capital improvements plan. So tell me a little bit about what was approved.
Yeah. Well, we had a good number of projects, both in our enterprise divisions and our general fund. Just to start with, they did continue one until next meeting on the 27th. And that project is the Osterville Bay School and Community Building and Fields, which is a very significant and important project right in downtown Osterville, where the former Osterville Bay School, last year they approved the demolition of that building, and that's going out to bid actually this week. And they're going to start removing hazardous material on the inside over the summer, and then in September, kind of after the end of the summer season, we're going to take the buildings down, and that's the old school and the school addition. The original plan called for also taking down the community building, but right now we're going to keep that up because it is utilized by recreation, and then when they decide to fund the construction of a new community building there, at that point we take down this existing community building. But a big part of this project also is moving the tennis courts from where they are, and they're going to be relocated to where the current building is. It's going to be demolished, and then there's going to be extensive work done on the fields and have multi-purpose fields and baseball field, and scheme also calls for a grandstand, bandstand, and restrooms, and really a nice conceptual plan we have there. So we look forward to talking about that on the 27th.
Wonderful.
And so we had, last week had approved a number of projects for facilities at the Centerville Recreation building. Now that wasn't a CIP, but it was put in as a CIP, but it's going to be funded through the CPC. That's to replace the Windows Net building that we've done a lot of work on over the last few years. Very well-used facility we have there in Centerville for recreation and other local meetings. An important project we got approved was for the Barnstable Police Department, their dispatch center. And this is where they, when you come in, where they have all their equipment and where people call in, and the 911, and what they have there is a setup from 1981, I think, and the equipment that was used there at that time is still there, and it's just, as you know, in 35 years, computer and technology has changed dramatically, and so there's a lot of issues with there's wires everywhere and equipment that doesn't work and is not needed, so we're going to completely redo that dispatch center.
That'll be exciting for them, I'm
it'll be
sure.
good with the new. There's a carpet floor in there now. We're going to put a tile floor in, and new furniture and cabinets, and then proper heights for monitors and things like that. So that's a great project. We're going to be putting a standby generator in at the senior center, which is there's not one there now, and the Hyannis Fire Department has been looking to have us do that for a number of years with the number of elderly folks in there, and some of them, some of the programs, the adult daycare program, they have limited mobility, so it's really not a good thing to have during a power outage to have those folks in there and not be able to see very well. So, and the elevator doesn't work and things like that. So that's a great project.
Yeah, lots of great things approved. And of course, have you ever seen it go so fast? I mean, they made it through just about the entire capital improvements plan.
Yeah, it's good. I think Well, there's a lot of reasons for it. I think the manager and his team selecting good, solid projects, that speak to the council. I think it's the departments preparing the presentations and providing the information needed to make those decisions, and a good financial plan. So, I'm not surprised. It's actually the fifth time I've presented the capital program now since I've been here, and definitely was fast. But I think we're all getting good at it and better at it, and we're ready for whatever questions, and it's well thought out. And when you do that and you plan and program properly, it's going to go well.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. Congratulations, and look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so
Take
much,
care.
Dan. Bye-bye. Our guest, of course, DPW Director Dan Santos. Now we're going to find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. Well, Cumberland Farms is celebrating the grand opening of its West Main Street Hyannis location by helping the Hyannis Youth and Community Center raise money. Cumberland Farms will donate 10 cents for every dispensed beverage purchased at the new location for 4 weeks. So starting today, if you purchase a hot or cold dispensed beverage, a portion of that is going to help the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. The Barnstable Youth Commission is hosting a job fair for all youth 18 and under. The event will be a great opportunity for kids to learn how to prepare for an interview, learn how to write a resume, and of course, how to complete a job application. Very important skills there. The Youth Job Fair will be held at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center tomorrow, Wednesday, April 12th from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Here's a look at this week's board, committee, and commission meeting schedule. Well, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another great show for you. On tomorrow's show, we'll chat with Cape Cod Regional Transit Administrator Tom Kerr. We'll get the latest real estate numbers with Register of Deeds Jack Mead, and we'll check in with Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.